Ghana is one of the most iconic African powerhouses in World Cup history. Known for bright, colorful fans, big stage moments, and talented superstars. It's been a while since the Black Stars have made any real magic, but they've got some great young talent and a World Cup pedigree which could make the difference in North America this summer. Welcome to Kickback Soccer Media's World Cup Capsules, where you'll learn everything you need to know about all 48 of the national teams competing at the 2026 World Cup, from the history of the game, the nation's current World Cup trajectory, unsung heroes, and cultural moments. I'm David Gossett. Today, we are talking about the Black Stars of Ghana. This is a Ghana squad that is familiar for many big-time fans. They've got a good amount of players who play in the top 5 European leagues like Inaki Williams, Jordan Ayew, and Kamaldeen Sulemana. Most of them, however, are older in age and have been around the national team for a long time. Tottenham's Mohamed Kudus has become the star of the squad and is expected to continue that once again at this World Cup. Not only is this an experienced squad, it's one that just knows how to win World Cup games. The sport was introduced to Ghana by European merchants in the late 1800s, and Ghana's first club, Excelsior, was founded in 1903. Ghana was part of the United Kingdom until 1957, but once freedom was achieved, the Ghanaian Football Association was founded. They had some early success, winning the African Cup of Nations in 1963 and 65. They then made it to the final in 68 and 70. The Black Stars won 2 more AFCONs in 1978 and in the debut of their legend Abedi Pele in 1982. Despite the continental success, they failed to qualify for the World Cup until 2006, but it was a good one. They were the youngest squad at the tournament and they played with a youthful abandon. They beat Czechia and the United States in the group stage before falling to Brazil in the round of 16. Asamoah Gyan scored the first ever World Cup goal for Ghana in that tournament, and they were the only African side to reach the knockout stage. The Black Stars built on their success 4 years later in 2010. They finished second in their group, but they beat the United States 2-1 in extra time in the round of 16 to advance to the quarterfinals in South Africa. There they faced Uruguay in one of the most painful matches in World Cup history. The teams were scoreless and went into extra time, where Uruguayan forward Luis Suarez stood on the goal line and batted away a Steven Appiah header that was destined for the back of the net. Suarez was caught, he received a red card, and Ghana looked poised to become the first African nation to progress to a semifinals of a World Cup and to do so on African soil. But Gyan, usually so reliable, skied it off the crossbar. The game remained tied and went to penalties, but the wind had been knocked out of Ghana's sails. They lost the penalty shootout 4-2. It was gutting, but the members of those teams, like Gyan, Michael Essien, Sulley Muntari, Steven Appiah, became legends for Ghana. It's been a less successful stretch since then. They bowed out in the group stages in 2014 and 2022, and they didn't even qualify in 2018. Odo Addo is in his second spell as the Black Stars head coach. In his first, he led the team through a World Cup playoff in the actual World Cup back in 2022 as an interim. Addo became the first Ghanaian to play for and coach the Ghana national team at the World Cup. And then after the 3-2 victory in the group stage over South Korea, it made Addo the first Ghanaian coach to win a match at a FIFA World Cup. He stepped down following the last group stage game. But then in March of 2024, Addo returned to the national team. Ghana finished the qualifiers unbeaten atop Group I with 25 points. This made Addo the first coach in Ghanaian history to guide the Black Stars to 2 separate World Cups. And after qualification, Addo urged Ghanaian fans to keep expectations realistic heading into the World Cup. Results have been mixed in Addo's second spell. While Ghana walked through the World Cup qualifiers, they finished dead last in AFCON qualifiers and have lost most of their friendlies. Missing AFCON will be a huge blow for player cohesion, for team chemistry, and for experience. Ghana's two most capped players are the Ayew brothers, Andre with 120 and Jordan with 117. The sons of Abedi Pele, who picked up the Pele nickname, therefore wasn't called Ayew, his actual last name, are two of three brothers that have played for the full national team. It's possible that they'll both feature during the World Cup, but Otto hasn't called Andre up in a while. That said, there's a young generation of Ghanaian youth who are making their way into the national team and are looking to prove themselves. Abdul Fatawu, Christopher Bonsu Ba, and Jonas Adeji Ajete. But if there's a young player you do want to keep your eye on, it's 25-year-old Bournemouth winger Antoine Semenyo. Semenyo had unsuccessful trials as a kid across London, with Arsenal, Tottenham, Millwall, and Crystal Palace, all before he turned 16. He then decided to give up on becoming a professional football player before Dave Hockaday convinced him to join his youth academy program at South Gloucestershire and Stroud College. Semenyo's development saw Birmingham City, Bristol City, and Crystal Palace come back in and show interest in signing him, and in 2017, he finally signed with Bristol City's academy. January of 2023, Semenyo completed a transfer to Bournemouth worth £10 million on a 4.5-year contract. His first season with the Cherries was up and down, but in the following two seasons, he became the heartbeat of their attack. In those two seasons, he had 21 goals and 8 assists, earning himself a new contract through 2030. He went on to make his national team debut back in June of 2022, and since then he has featured 32 times for the Black Stars, scoring 3 goals, providing 3 assists. He was with the team during the 2022 World Cup, and he made 2 substitute appearances. But he is ready to star in this World Cup. He is an unbelievable dribbler, an elite passer, and he can shoot with both feet thanks to his parents, as he revealed in an interview with The Athletic. This, plus his speed and ball progression, make him one of the best wingers of the Premier League and possibly in the world. His ability of finding that final ball, whether it's a pass or a shot, is second to none when it comes to wingers. There have been so many big players who have donned the Black Star crest. Michael Essien, Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah, but in the World Cup, Asamoah Gyan stands above all. He started his almost 18-year club career in Ghana, before spells in Italy, England, the UAE, China, and Turkey. He did well at the club level, but it's on the national team stage where he really excelled. 51 career goals for Ghana, 6 of them at the Senior World Cup. To put that into perspective, Ghana has scored 18 total World Cup goals. So Gyan is responsible for 1/3 of the country's World Cup goals. He is the top African goal scorer in the history of the World Cup. In Ghana, football is used as a tool for achieving dreams. Since the late 1990s, European clubs and entrepreneurs have started establishing football academies in Ghana. Among the first ones were Ajax and Feyenoord, and Right to Dream. Right to Dream is an academy that started in Accra in 1999. It is now a multi-club, multi-academy group with branches in Egypt, as well as the Mansour Group's professional teams, FC Nordsjælland in Denmark, FC Masser in Egypt, and San Diego FC in the United States. Right to Dream was started by Tom Vernon, who had been Manchester United's head scout in Africa. It started on a small scale, and unlike most youth academies, independent of a professional team, training a small number of boys who were initially housed in Vernon's own home. Some scouts and other staff were purely volunteers. In 2004, the organization began partnering with U.S. boarding schools to offer athletic scholarships. As of 2021, it is a full scholarship boarding school itself for promising footballers drawn from all over West Africa. A girls' youth system program was introduced in 2013, the first in Africa. The academy has produced over 300 graduates, most of who end up playing professional football throughout the world. 67 Right to Dream grads, both male and female, have represented their country at a senior international level. 7 of these players have played at the Men's FIFA World Cup in 2022, and that includes current national team and Tottenham star Mohamed Kudus, the centerpiece of both teams' attacks and their biggest hopes for success. There are a lot of names of products of the Academy who've been able to achieve their dream and secure a great life for themselves and their families. Well, Ghana had a very challenging draw. They landed in Group L with England, Croatia, and Panama. But thanks to the expanded field, a spot in the knockout rounds as one of the best third-place teams is in sight at a minimum. And then, as we've said, once they get into the knockout rounds, they can make some special magic. We love to leave you with a fun fact at the end of every show, and we love it even more when food and soccer collide. And that's the case here. Any match between two of the West African giants, Ghana and Nigeria, is known as the Jollof Derby. Because not only is it a rivalry on the field, it is a heated debate off the field as to who makes the best jollof, a rice dish made of rice, meat, tomatoes, onions, other vegetables, and many spices. On the field, Ghana holds the upper hand with 59 wins compared to Nigeria's 13. Off the field, Nigerian jollof is known to be a little more smoky, a little spicier, and often with a crunch, while Ghana's is a little softer and sweeter. You'll just have to try some yourself, and you can decide who is dominant off the field. Well, that's it for today's podcast. Make sure to follow us anywhere on social media for all of our World Cup coverage. And reminder, we are doing one of these podcasts for every single qualified nation at the 2026 World Cup.